week's episode of Gundam Reconguista in G is the final episode of the series, and thus another chapter in the Gundam saga comes to a close. This episode right here was an absolute spectacle of mecha madness. It was definitely one of the best battles that I've seen from Reconguista in G, and can definitely hold its own against some of the other big battles from the Gundam anime franchise. The final episode is pretty awesome. I mean, it's a lot of fun. It's basically just a big robot battle. But still, at the end of the day, wrapping up the story, trying to get some things resolved, the end of the series really didn't do much for me. In fact, the entire Reconguista in G anime series is probably one of my least favorite Gundam anime that I have ever seen. And a lot of that just has to do with the straight characterization. Gundam is an anime series where you have to care about the characters. That way, when they get involved in these big, crazy war situations, you're gonna fear for their lives. I never really felt that too much throughout this entire series, because the characters themselves basically just seemed kind of stock. I mean, Bellry's story really didn't go anywhere. He didn't even have a final scene with Ida whatsoever, not to mention any of his friends. They barely followed up on any of the Raraya story. The minute they figured out that she was from some weird place in Toasanga, they were done with that. There's another weird subplot this week where Dr. Flaminia is like some weird little teeny person and she has to wear a suit. There's a crazy scene at the end where frickin' Klim Nick decides to attack his father with the Crescent ship, and we don't get to see how that follows up. There's the girl from Giat Corps who apparently was pregnant with Kia's child, and then Colonel Koompa, the main villain of the show, is just killed randomly when a plane is kicked right into his backside and he's sent flying down into this frickin' cavern of death. In many senses, it's really fun and ridiculous. It just feels really rushed. The thing about this show is, it's going to beg rewatching. This is a Gundam anime, despite the fact that I didn't care for it too much. I'm gonna rewatch it because I'm a Gundam fan. I want to try and learn a little bit more about it. I want to try to see how the story actually works, which I'm still confused by. I don't know why the story ended the way it did. I'm guessing they're just delivering the photon batteries across the world and everything is at peace again because Colonel Koompa isn't like pulling the strings anymore. I'm not really sure what's going on, especially with the whole Lewin Lee subplot and his whole Kuntala rebellion, which again never really went anywhere. He was just soundly defeated when basically Bellry just stopped everybody from fighting at the very end of this week's episode, and that was a missed opportunity from having one hell of a final showdown in the Jaboro base. And I really loved that touch when they went in there and you could see the old decrepit mobile suits like the Zegok, like the one that was piloted by Char Ozdable and their team when they actually snuck in. I thought that was a really nice thing to do. Not to mention, this isn't the first time that we've seen the Guiana Heights in Gundam. We've seen it multiple times in G Gundam and even the brand new Gundam Build Fighters Try, so it's amazing that we got to see that location in both of the brand new Gundam anime which are airing right now. But still, even with all of that, I'm still not quite sure how to feel about this one. There are some significant deaths in this episode, but they're deaths of like characters like I can't even remember their names. Like there's the characters from the Giat Corps who got killed. I was almost 100% convinced that Manny was going to be killed in this week's episode, and it didn't happen whatsoever. There were like many opportunities for it too when she was fighting against different people, when she was constantly trying to help out Mask and he was trying to tell her, go to the freaking Garandin and stop trying to help me in fighting because you're not helping whatsoever. And then it just sort of ends with them just camping out at the end. Like that's the end of Lewin Lee's story. And, you know, as much as I want there to be a second season to sort of explain things a little bit more and maybe, you know, build on this part of the Gundam universe a little bit more, I don't want there to be a second season because I didn't care for it that much. I just want them to move on to something else. There's like a 99% chance we're probably going to get a third season of Gundam Build Fighters, and I'm okay with that, but I still want another companion piece to that series. I want another Gundam anime. And I mean, we have the Gundam Origin right now, which is so awesome, but that's an OVA series which is going to be spread out over a large period of time, and I believe that one's only going to be like 4 episodes, so we're not going to get a lot out of that, but those are awesome. But I'd still like either a brand new Universal Century story, or I'd like just another alternate universe Gundam, something unique and different we haven't seen before, or maybe they could adapt one of the manga series from back in the day because there's so many different popular ones. I would love to see one from the Crossbone Gundam, the one that's like all about the pirates and stuff. I think that would be really freaking awesome. I think that would make for an amazing anime series, and they would sell models out the wazoo. But let's get back on topic. The final episode of Gundam Reconguista NG still just racks up on the action. It opens up immediately with all of the different mobile suits falling out of the sky, and they basically all just wail on each other the entire episode. In particular, the battle between the Gabalkali and the G-Self Gundam is really impressive. Just the amount of animation they put in that, just all the different armor pieces that they're constantly ripping off of each other. The actual choreography looks really good. There's only so many episodes in the series that have like really, really good fighting choreography, and this is definitely one of them. It looked really fantastic. I also love the look of the Dahak, which is the mobile suit which is used by Klimnik, which has these 4 beam sabers on its back. That was just really impressive, and I especially love the scene when he created his shield and started spinning around and was able to take out that one G-It core member. That was just freaking hardcore. But still, that's just the way it is. It's just a big action episode that immediately just wraps everything up, sweeps it completely under the rug, and gives you some very short resolutions for the characters, which ultimately don't go anywhere. So, like, our main characters. Bellry is going on like a sightseeing tour of Japan, going to Mount Fuji, and basically just having a good time. Basically, now that everything's at peace, he can just relax, and that's really all there is to the character. Bellry's just a happy-go-lucky guy. Raraya is just hanging out with the Megafauna crew. That's pretty much it. And it looks like Ida has officially become like the captain of the ship. She even seems to have like her own big jacket, which looks really awesome. But again, why wasn't there a final scene between these two characters? There should have been something, unless they are doing a second season. Otherwise, it was okay. So what's the rundown on this week's episode of Gundam Reconguista NG? It was okay. I mean, as far as action goes, it was really exciting. The animation, the artwork was freaking amazing. I especially love the callbacks to the Universal Century. That was really cool. But like I said before, I just don't care about the characters. The story is really confusing, but the production value is absolutely amazing. And this is a Gundam series for hardcore Gundam fans only. I only say that because there's just so many callbacks to the original series and lots of techno-babble and space jargon. But if you consider yourself a fan of the Gundam anime series, check out this show. You might see something you like. It begs rewatching. I am certainly going to go ahead and rewatch it immediately to try and make some sense of it. And if I discover something I never saw before, maybe I'll make a discussion video out of it. But at this point in time, I don't really care for the series that much. What I will say is the final episode was pretty good. I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5. I'm dropping off a point because the ending just seemed incredibly rushed, and I really didn't get too much resolution from the characters. I just wanted more time with these people. But there it is. I think the entire series overall was pretty decent, but definitely one of my least favorite Gundam anime. You know, the only reason I would give the entire series a 3 out of 5 is strictly just for the animation and for the artwork. If I were to ignore that altogether, I'd say this is easily a 2 out of 5 anime, just for how muddled the storytelling is. I don't care what anybody says, it's just my opinion. But remember, because it's my opinion, that doesn't mean that you can't like the show. If you like Gundam Reconguista NG, love it, support it in every way you can, because that means we're going to get some new Gundam anime in the future. So there it is. That's my final thoughts on Gundam Reconguista NG. Just sort of an okay Gundam anime. One that I'm probably going to rewatch once. If I don't see something I like again, I'm probably done with it at that point. But there it is, guys. Check it out, hardcore Gundam fans. Pretty okay Gundam show. Check it out. Thank you guys for watching my review. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up. And before you leave, make sure to tell me what you thought about the final episode of Gundam Reconguista NG. I was kind of dissatisfied by the entire series as a whole. But how did you guys feel about this series? Do you have any, like, theories about it? Any comments you want to tell me? What do you want to see from some of the future Gundam anime series? Make sure to subscribe to our channel if you have not already, and make sure to also check us out on Facebook and on Twitter. Thank you guys again for watching, and as always, stay dandy, baby!